And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're talking about Combo Fighter. Everybody was Kung Fu fighting. This is a game that basically takes Street Fighter or Tekken or any of those, button mashing, punching video games and puts it as a card game. Now, this is not the first game to do this. There are several games out there. Some of them I really enjoy and count as some of my favorite games. But what kind of attracted me to this one was the fact that it says it's about a 10-minute game. And this is not a lie. It's a quick game. You can buy the starter set that has these 4 characters, get other sets with more characters, and fight against each other, each with their own style. Lots of people like these fighting games. They've been out ever since I've been a boy. They're very popular even today. Does this game do a good job at bringing that to life? Let's see. Now, there are several characters that can come. You can buy them in separate packs, and each character has their own special abilities. But in this game, each player is going to... There's 4 main characters that come in the main box. You're going to get a card that talks a little bit about that character. It gives you a little bit of their story on the back. Tells you their fighting style. So Grace Lee uses Kung Fu. Gives you their signature combos. Tells you exactly what is in their deck. You're going to get a deck full of all sorts of cards. 5 of these cards are going to be your starting cards. They're mentioned here at the bottom. And the rest you'll shuffle. You'll notice that there are 3 main colors of cards here. Red, blue, and yellow. And each of these cards, the red ones are attack moves like punches and kicks. Blue ones are defensive moves. And yellow ones are footwork. Yeah, like a spin or a sidestep or different things like that. Each one of these also will have a triangle or a square at the top, or sometimes a circle. And this one has an asterisk. We'll talk about that in a second. So you're going to shuffle these cards, and then each round of the game, each player is going to play a card from their hand. You'll turn these cards over and you'll compare them. You'll look at this circle here. It's pretty simple. Footwork beats defensive moves. Defensive moves beats attack. Attack beats footwork. Here we see that Grace Lee played an attack and Francisco played footwork, so she wins. So his card is discarded, and her card is going to do 1 damage. So there's a lot of different cards that will do amount of damage. You'll see many of them do 0 damage. This one does 3 damage. But when you play a card, you can instantly start playing cards from your hand as a combo. The next card from Grace Lee's hand that she could play as a combo is a red square, blue triangle, or yellow triangle. So let's say, for example, she decides that she's going to play a yellow triangle, a spin. At this point, she would use the second number here. So that does 0 damage. Well, why would she do that? Well, that's because now she wants to play this elbow. And this elbow, because of blue triangle, will do 2 more damage. And you can play as many cards as you have in your hand and do some sort of combo full of damage. And if you pull off a signature combo, which means if you play the cards in these exact order, you will do this damage. If I play a yellow triangle, then a red triangle, then a blue triangle, I'll do 7. I also play a yellow square, I will do a total of 9. If I play these exact cards in order, I will do 15. So the game's going to be pretty simple. You're each going to be playing a card. You'll compare those cards. Now, if you play cards that are the same color, at that point, you're going to compare the initiative. So a lot of the cards in here have initiative numbers on them, and you want to have a higher initiative than your opponent because your card will go first. A card with a star automatically wins initiative, so here the swoop automatically beats the step in. When you take damage, so let's say Francisco here has to take, 3 damage. So he might have some cards in his hands. He can discard those cards, or he can discard cards off the top of his deck. When all your cards are gone, you lose. Now, when you get to the bottom of your deck, you can shuffle your discard pile, make a new deck, but the next time you get hit, you're KO'd. This is called staggering. Each player also has a special ability tile that's next to them that they can use. So Boris, before drawing cards, he can discard 3 blue cards to flip this to the other side. Now, whenever he does at least 1 damage, he does 2 more. He's using steroids. Francisco here, when your opponent does damage, he flips it to the other side, and if he wins a round, he can do double damage, but then it flips back. When she plays one of her signature combos, she flips it to the other side. And if she empties her whole hand of 5 cards, she can draw a new hand. She can just keep doing a combo forever and ever. And Grace, as long as you have Phoenix Strike in your hand, her red cards are +3 initiative, and they do +1 damage. But as soon as she plays one, she flips it to the other side, and then Phoenix staff goes from the game. So basically, her staff is awesome until you break it. And each character has very different maneuvers in them. Like this guy here has X's throughout him, which are basically, he has a special ability where the X is going to change throughout the course of the game. So at the beginning of the game, it's not worth as much, but as the game goes by, it can get stronger. And so as you play each character, you're going to decide which ones you want to do. Some of the characters are going to be faster and have more combos. Some of the characters like Boris have some extremely strong cards. I mean, look at his headbutt. It's a 4 or a 3 as a follow-up, or this Thunderclap, which is a 7 or a 3 follow-up. If he hits you with this, you're going to be reeling. But when you look at his card, you also can see that he has 18 red cards, so maybe you're going to play a blue card against him. But of course, then you know he has 20 blue cards, so maybe you'll play a yellow, etc. That's kind of an interesting thing here. And players are just going to play until the round's over. There's other things you can do. You can play in these different scenarios where you have, some special rules. All signature combos do double damage in the real nightclub. This just changes the rules. You can play 2-on-2, and you can just go through the different characters and play through them and see how they work. The card quality for this game is pretty good. The cards have the white borders, which you're going to be using these a lot. I like the size of them. It's really easy to see on a card: red, yellow, or blue. The triangles, squares, and circles. The damage numbers, I would have probably made those a little bigger. I mean, considering we're taking up this much room here for the picture, I think the damage could have been bigger, maybe colored a little bit, or I don't know. They're not as easy to see across the table, but that would be my only complaint. Everything else is very nice. The different tokens that players have, you can see she's going to go up in damage as the game goes by. Lu Yan, same thing. And I like these tokens. They're nice tokens. And then these cards are great. They give you these exact signature combos, this, and then a nice little story if you want to kind of get into the theme of things. And then the artwork on the cards itself is fun. Apparently this guy likes to fight, and he wants to be comfortable when he's fighting. Soak. Ha 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 ha. And there's a lot of cards that do 0 damage, but they're setting up for other combos and things like that. For the most part, quality component's good. And you're able to fit everything into the base box even if you have all the expansions. Alright, so there we go. That's Combo Fighter. I really like this game. It is a fast-paced, play cards, and try to outthink your opponent. When it comes down to it, it is rock, paper, scissors, right? The blue beats the red, which beats the yellow, which beats the blue. But there's some nuance to that, because I'm looking there going, well, you need, this character, for example, Francisco, he needs a blue to start all his combos. So your chance of playing a blue is pretty strong, but you only have 14 blue cards in his deck. He has 25 reds, so maybe he's just going to punch me around a little bit. He's definitely not going to play a yellow. But see, he knows I know that, so he's going to lead off with a yellow and then going to wail on me. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And I actually like... Some of these characters are much harder to pull off. Like the character who starts out by doing no damage, and as the game goes by, she gets stronger and stronger, but she has to pull off combos to get her damage up. I like that. It's trickier to play, but it's a lot of fun. And each one, like even in the base game, the one Boris, the guy, he's steroids, big, strong, and he's trying to hit you. He's slow. He'll probably miss most of the time, but if he connects, see you later. And games of this can be close, they're entertaining, they're fast-paced, back and forth, and they do a really good job at bringing this back and forth to life. Now, the question's going to come up, hey Tom, you like other games in this genre, how does this compare? I gotta mention that, right? Yomi, which is probably one of my favorites in this genre so far, also very fast-paced. This is so much better than Yomi. It's so much faster. The combos, you can just sit there and play the cards and combos really quick. I like it. It's smooth. It's simple. It's easy. I can teach this to somebody in a minute. Play a game in 10 minutes. I really like the simplicity here. Yomi's being positive was its simplicity. The simplicity here is better, and I think they do a better job at differentiating the fighters. BattleCon War of Endines is a more complex two-fighter game. I probably like that one better than this one slightly, but it also is a big, more complex, longer drawn out 30, 45-minute game. This here is quick, fast, and this one will probably get played more. I was very pleasantly surprised by Combo Fighter. I kind of went in going, here we go, another one of these fighting games. And I like the combos. I like being able to sit there and go. Everyone likes playing combos from their hand to that degree, and this game does that. And even if you lose, even if you get pummeled beyond belief, you just start another game. And it feels, I haven't played every combination here. I played this game quite a few times. I haven't played every combination, but it feels like the fighters are really well balanced. And it feels like it's more outguessing your opponent than it is luck of the draw, especially since you have those 5 starting cards. And the characters have a very different feel to them. So overall, very recommended from me, Combo Fighter. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!